it is 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. So we have the harmonization of diabetes and hypertension management at the Ministry of Health. For the international scene, a United Nations Committee calls for the protection of Palestinians. Welcome to our newsroom. Several observers representing the Arab League, the organizations of the Islamic Conference, the African Union, and IGAD have been to Djibouti in the framework of the legislative elections which took place last Friday, February 24, 2023. At the end of the elections, a press briefing was held at Djibouti Palace Kempinski in order to communicate the preliminary conclusions on the conduct of these elections. This meeting took place in the presence of the ambassadors and representatives of the international organizations, and especially the media. During the afternoon of February 26th, the heads of missions of the League of Arab States, the organizations of Islamic Conference, the African Union, and IGAD presented their first finding on the conduct of the electoral process of February 24. The mission's delegation of the OIC said for the result. Listen for more detail.
We noted that necessary polling materials were in place in the polling stations that the mission observed, and the security environment was satisfactory. In the vote casting process, the election management officials demonstrated transparency and competence in carrying out their responsibilities and were cordial and responsive to both voters and observers. In most of the polling stations, we observed that the number of women officials in the election management process was commendable. The mission noted that representatives of the contesting political parties were present in polling stations observed. Opening and closing of polling stations. All polling stations that we observed, save for one, opened on time at 6 a.m. on the material day, and closing was extended by 1 hour nationwide. All polling stations, therefore, closed at 7 p.m. Voter turnout. Although our mission is not able to immediately determine the percentage of voter turnout, it was observed that most voters cast their votes in the afternoon hours. Voter turnout in the morning was low. The mission notably was encouraged by the high turnout of women voters. However, we did not observe significant participation of the youth in the process. Security. The mission observed that the election was conducted in a peaceful, incident-free environment. Our mission commends the great people of Djibouti for coming out to exercise their right to vote on the 24th February 2023 and doing so in a peaceful and orderly manner. The mission would also like to commend the National Independent Electoral Commission for executing a smooth electoral process. We would also like to appreciate the law enforcement agencies for discharging their duties dutifully. Finally, the mission would like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank the people of Djibouti and the government of Djibouti for their warm hospitality and cooperation and for the peaceful legislative election.
The mission delegation led by the Arab League, led by Ambassador Muhannad Salah Al-Jouzi, assistant to the Secretary General, has indicated that the Arab League mission is also meet with other observers' mission, including the African Union and the Organizations of Islamic Cooperation. The observer mission is using a globally recognized observation methodology. Its job was to observe the various stages of the electoral process on February 24, 2023. from the voting hours to the countings and tabulations that follow it, and the subsequent counting of votes. Indeed, the mission made several visits to the voting centers in the two regions of Djibouti City and Arta. As a result, the observer missions of the Arab League, the League of Arab States, expressed its satisfaction with the smooth conduct of the elections, which were held in a calm and peaceful atmosphere. The mission will publish its final report, which will be transmitted to the Djibouti authorities after the final proclamations of the results. Finally, the mission of the League of Arab States expresses its gratitude to the Djiboutian Authority for having facilitated the work of the observers in the Republic of Djibouti, wishing the brotherly Djiboutian people peace, security, and stability for the continuity of its prosperity and development. The observer missions of the IGAD expresses its satisfaction with the smooth conduct of the elections, which were held in a calm and peaceful atmosphere. The mission will publish its final report, which will be transmitted to the authority, to the Djibouti authority, after the final proclamations of the result. Finally, the mission of IGAD expresses its gratitude to the Djiboutian authority for having facilitated the work of the observers in the Republic of Djibouti, wishing the brotherly Djiboutian people peace and security and stability for the continuity of its prosperity and development. As a result, the observer mission of the African Union expressed its satisfaction with the smooth conduct of the elections, which were held in a calm and peaceful atmosphere. The mission which will publish its final report, which will be transmitted to the Djibouti authority after the final proclamations of the result. Finally, the mission of the African Union expresses its gratitude to the Djiboutian authority for having facilitated the work of the observers in the Republic of Djibouti, wishing the brotherly Djiboutian people peace, security, and stability for the continuity of its prosperity and development. A signing meeting of the agreement between of the PTA 2023 between the Ministry of Women and Family and UNDP was held this Sunday, February 26, 2023, at the People's Palace. This memorandum of understanding, based on an annual work plan AWP 2023, was jointly initiated by the Minister of Women and Family and Ms. Muna Osman Aden and the representative of UNDP, Ms. Emma Ano. Indeed, the two parties signed the document related to the annual works plan for their collaborations, which is based on the main components allowing the Ministry of Women and Family to promote gender, including the empowerment of women, they promote the promotions of family welfare, and the entrepreneurship of young girls. This annual work plan will also help to further strengthen their partnership. Within the framework of the Arab Tourism Day corresponding to February 25 of each year, so the Minister of Trade and Tourism, Mohammed Warsa Madiri, accompanied by the Ambassador of Djibouti to Qatar, Tayyip Dubadroble, took part in the ceremony of the official announcement of the Doha as the Arab Tourism Capital 2023 by the Arab Tourism Organization. This ceremony was held under the auspices of His Excellency Sheikh Khalid bin Khalifa bin Abdul Aziz Al Thani, Prime Minister and Minister of Interior of the State of Qatar, and was held in Doha on February 25, 2023. During the ceremony, the key to the Arab tourism capital was presented to His Excellency Mr. Akbar Al Bakhir, Chairman of the Qatar Tourism and CEO of the Qatar Airways Group, by the directors of the Arab Tourism Organization, His Excellency Dr. Bender bin Fand Al Fanda. The ceremony was attended by a number of ministers from Arab countries as well as other senior officials in the field of tourism. The Ministry of Health, through the Directorate of Priority Health Programs and the National Programs for Control of Non-Communicable Diseases, organized on Tuesday, 2014, Wednesday, 15 February 2023, a consensus of validations workshop of the diabetes and hypertension management guidelines with the technical support of the World Health Organization. The objective of this workshop was to have discussions around the draft of the guidelines for hypertension and diabetes in the light of the World Health Organization guidelines, with the participation of our General practitioners and specialists. It was found that it is imperative to harmonize this management of our patients to better prevent diabetes and hypertension through the health approach, healthy lifestyles, protocols of care, drug access, cardiovascular risk management, team care, and follow-up supervision, which offers a standardized and comprehensive interventions package at the primary health care level. The exercise was the first in the national health system's response to the burdens of the NCD, but it was noted that his response will require a multisectoral set of interventions through a multidimensional strategy at the national level. As part of the cooperation between the Republic of Djibouti and the Arab Republic of Egypt in the file of health, the acting Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, Mr. Abdul Qadir Muhammad Garad, received donations from 10 tons of medicines given by His Excellency, the Ambassador of the Arab Republic of Egypt accredited in Djibouti, Mr. Hussam Eldin Reda, speaking first. The Ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti first took the opportunity to situate the ceremony and reiterate the commitment of his country to accompany the Republic of Djibouti in its effort to improve the health of the people. For his part, the acting Secretary General stressed that it is a real pleasure for him to receive an important batch of drugs, and this will undoubtedly increase the stock of drugs in hospitals in the country significantly. The management of the National Offices of Water and Sanitation of Djibouti, ONEAD, informs the inhabitant of the district 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Cité Stade, Cité Engela, Cité Al-Hiba, and Cité Saudi, Makkah al-Mukarram, and centers that the supply of drinking waters will be disrupted during the day of Tuesday, February 28, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. due to the repair of leaks on the delivery pipe supply in this district. ONEAD counts on the understandings of its customer for the inconvenience of these situations. A ceremony was held at the Djibouti multipurpose port for the acquisitions of vehicles and heavy machineries to strengthen and solidify the port activity. The ceremony was chaired by the General Manager of the DMP PDSA, Mr. Jama Ibrahim, and the Director General of the Ethiopian Shipping Lines, ESL, Mr. Roba Megersa Akewaka. The objective of this acquisition of the new bulldozers and heavy machineries vehicle is to strengthen the port activities in order to make it fluid and faster. This is a satisfaction for the great Ethiopian neighbor, who is a major consumer of Djibouti's port services. The multipurpose port of Dora Lady MP in Djibouti city can transit thousands of cars and millions of tons of goods. For his part, the Director General of DMP PDSA, Jama Ibrahim.
Don't find anywhere else as efficient and productive as a port of Djibouti. And today we are seeing DMP as a transshipment hub also. It's about grain, fertilizer, general cargo, and now containers. Every time the value addition and the productivity is improving with the procurement and the deployment of these new machineries. We hope that customer satisfaction will be enhanced to a very higher level. On already existing customer satisfaction and the productivity of the port is there. We witness that. We work closely with a team of Mr. Jama. They are very cooperative. We are working to the development endeavors of our two sisterly countries. We are doing our best really to make development a reality. This will increase not only the productivity of the port, but it will create jobs, which is very important for the government.
For his part, the General Directors of DMP PDSA, Mr. Jama Ibrahim, said that the port of DMP buys from time to time new materials to satisfy our customers to deliver their goods on time. He also recalled that other new large machines will be acquired very soon. The Directorate of Maritime Affairs informs its users that Tuesday, February 28, 2023, the ferry Mohammed Burhan Qasim will leave Djibouti Escale for its usual destination is Tajora, exceptionally at 7 a.m. Also, the Maritime Affairs informs that the boarding will start at 6 a.m. The popular cash of credit CPEC has launched the digitization of its operation and the use of a new information system entitled SAFE6, financed by the World Bank in collaboration with the CLE. The objective of this digital transformation is to modernize the operating system of microfinance institutions. Digitalization and financial inclusion are the way forward for the socio-economic development of our country. It is in this sense that the CPEC of Djibouti has launched the digitization of its operation as well as the interconnections of the different sites, which will allow the funds to expand their ranges of product and facilitate the functionalities of the funds with the inter-funds exchanges thanks to the servers that will be installed in the CPEC, the BCD and ADDS. This will allow them to modernize their operating system by introducing new technology dedicated to this file. On the other hand, the CPEC also wanted to update its information system called SAF6 thanks to the support of the international firm led by Mr. Hadley and Goran Nyong, experts in microfinance and specialists in management information system GHA technology. For the international scene, tropical cyclone Freddy made landfall on Friday in the coastal town of Vilanculos in Mozambique, accompanied by heavy rainfall and winds gusts of to 173 kilometers per hour. The weather phenomenon was reclassified as an intense tropical storm after gaining speed over the Mozambique Canal. No report on the damages has yet been reported, but the residents of this city do not hide their concern. The cyclone is expected to weaken as it crosses southern Africa, but there is a serious risk of heavy rainfall over neighboring countries such as Zimbabwe, South Africa, Zambia, Malawi, and Botswana. According to the data from the regional meteorological centers in Reunion, the tropical cyclone Freddy, which is sweeping the Indian Ocean, has caused the loss of lives in Madagascar. It had made landfalls on Tuesday with the winds of about 130 km per hour and heavy rains. The United Nations Committee on Exercises of the Inalienable Rights of the Palestinian People condemned the Israeli aggressions in Nablus and the occupied West Bank, in which 11 Palestinians fell as martyrs, including a child and a person. 100 other Palestinians were also injured. In addition, the committee called for urgent actions by the Security Council and the international community to protect the Palestinian people. It also reiterates the need to curb violence and for just peaceful solutions to the conflict and an unconditional end to the illegal occupations and the establishment of the two-state solutions with the achievement of the independence and sovereignty of the Palestinian state on the basis of the recognized pre-1967 borders with East Quds as its capital and the realizations of the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people, including self-determination. U.S. California faces first blizzards in a century. California is under snow for several days. The American region is hit by winter storms, a rare phenomenon in this state as of the American West, known for its sun and its warm temperature. Stay home, be careful. These are the words of the authorities of California. The winter storms that hit the state since Friday, February 24, is one of the most violent of the last 100 years. From San Francisco to Los Angeles, significant snowfall were recorded. On Saturday, February 25, white layers covered the Golden Gate Bridge and the giant letters Hollywood on Mount Lee. The snow was accompanied by strong winds that caused significant damages unrooted trees and especially damaged power lines. More than 100,000 residents were without powers in San Diego and Los Angeles. Blizzard warnings have been issued. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.